Hello everyone and welcome to today's lesson at the Butterfly Princess Academy, where curiosity takes flight and wisdom wears wings. Today's lecture we're going to be discussing the enduring legacy of Little Miss Naughty from the Mr. Men and Little Miss books created by Roger Hargreaves and his son Adam Hargreaves. So here goes. Roger Hargreaves' Mr. Men and Little Miss series, first published in 1971, has captivated generations of young readers with its whimsical characters, vibrant illustrations, and gentle moral lessons. Among these beloved characters, Little Miss Naughty stands out as a mischievous yet endearing figure. His antics provide both entertainment and subtle educational value. So here goes. Roger Hargreaves conceived that the Mr. Men books is a way to engage his son with stories that distill complex human traits in approachable child-friendly characters. Each book centres on a protagonist defined by a single characteristic, such as Mr. Grumpy, Mr. Happy, or Little Miss Sunshine, and follows their journey of self-discovery and transformation. The series mimics prose period paired with bold cartoonish illustrations allow children to easily grasp abstract concepts like kindness, patience and responsibility. Little Miss Naughty, introduced in 1981 as part of the Little Miss spin-off, embodies the universal archetype of the playful troublemaker, a figure that resonates deeply with children's natural curiosity and boundary-testing behaviours. Little Miss Naughty is depicted as a small, pink-haired figure with a sly grin and a petulant for pranks. Her defining trait, naughtiness, is portrayed through her interactions with other characters, such as tricking Mr. Uppity into sitting on a whoopee cushion or hiding Mr. Tickle's arms. Unlike villains in traditional children's literature, her mischief is never malice. Instead, it reflects a childlike desire for attention and fun. Hargreaves uses humour to soften her actions, ensuring that young readers perceive her not as a threat but as a relatable figure navigating the consequences of her choices. Her design and personality are intentionally extravagating, a hallmark of Hargreaves' style. The simplicity of her portrayal allows children to immediately recognise her role in the story, while the vivid illustrations amplify her playful energy. This visual and narrative clarity makes her an effective tool for teaching cause and effect. Every prank she pulls leads to a reaction, prompting discussions about how actions impact others. Narrative structure. Right. The plot of Little Miss Naughty follows a predictable yet effective formula. After a series of pranks, her behaviour culminates in an incident where her mischief backfires, such as when she accidentally tricks herself. This narrative mirrors the classic poetic justice trope, subtly teaching children that tough, thoughtless actions often lead to unintended outcomes. For example, in one story, Little Miss Naughty's attempt to play a trick on Mr. Impossible, results in her becoming the target of her own joke. Through such scenarios, Hargreaves empathises accountability without restoring to her heavy-handedness. The story also introduced the concept of empathy. When Little Miss Naughty sees the frustration or embarrassment her pranks cause, she begins to question her behaviour. This moment of self-reflection is pivotal as it models emotional growth and encourages readers to consider others' feelings. By resolving conflict through reconciliation rather than punishment, Hargreaves reinforces the idea that mistakes are opportunities for learning, not sources of shame. The Little Miss Naughty book serves as a springboard for discussions about social norms and emotional intelligence. For educators and parents, the character's journey offers a safe space to address topics such as boundaries, why do rules exist, and how do they protect relationships? Consequences, how do our choices affect others? Empathy, what does it feel like to be on the on the receiving end of a prank? Self-correction, how can we apologise and make amends? These themes align with modern educational frameworks that prioritise social emotional learning, or SEL for short, by persifying abstract traits. Hargreaves' stories help children identify and articulate emotions as critical skills in early development. Additionally, the repetitive structure of the series aids language acquisition and memory retention, making the books ideal for emerging readers. Over 4 decades after her debut, Little Miss Naughty remains a cultural touchstone. Her universal appeal lies in her relatability. Every child, and also adults, has encountered moments of impulsivity or the temptation to test limits. The character's enduring popularity has led to adaptations in animation, merchandise, and even collaborations with brands like Dr. Meta, cementing her status as a timeless icon. Critics have praised Hargreaves' ability to balance humour with heart, unlike dissected that risk alienating young audiences. Little Miss Naughty invites laughter while fostering anticipation. This balance ensures that the lessons feel organic rather than forced, a key reason the series continues to thrive in an era of rapidly changing media. Roger Hargreaves' Little Miss Naughty amplifies the power of children's literature to entertain and educate simultaneously. Through her playful antics and eventful self-awareness, the characters models the importance of empathy, accountability and growth. In a world where children are often quick to label behaviours as good or bad, Little Miss Naughty offers a lucid perspective. Naughtiness is not a fixed trait, but a momentary choice that can be corrected with understanding. By balancing humour, simplicity and emotional depth, Hargreaves created a legacy that transcends generations, proving that even the smallest characters can leave the biggest impression. As educators and parents seek tools to navigate the complexities of childhood development, Little Miss Naughty stands as a testament to the enduring values of stories that speak to the heart and and the occasional mischief within all of us. Since their debut in 1971, Roger Hargreaves' Mr. Men and Little Miss series has enchanted audiences with their vibrant characters, humorous narratives and timeless life lessons. Among the most memorable figure in the whimsical universe is Little Miss Naughty, a mischievous yet endearing character whose antics transcend the pages of her original book to appear in TV adaptations, merchandise and global pop culture. The Little Miss series, launched by Roger Hargreaves in 1981 as a companion to his Mr. Men books, introduced female characters who mirrored the charming quirkiness of their male counterparts. Little Miss Naughty, one of the earliest editions, embodies the universal archetype of the playful trickster. Her debut book, Little Miss Naughty, which was published in 1981, follows her petulant for pranks such as hiding Mr. Tickle's arms or tricking Mr. Uppity, all rendered in Hargreaves' signature style, minimalist prose, bold illustrations and a moral twist. Unlike traditional art antagonists, Little Miss Naughty is not villainous but mischievous, driven by curiosity rather than malice. Her stories empathise cause and effect. For instance, when her pranks backfire, she experiences poetic justice, teaching young readers about accountability. Hargreaves' genius lies in balancing humour with subtle lessons, allowing children to laugh at her antics while messages about empathy and self-reflection. The book's repetitive structure and visual humour make them accessible to early readers, fostering literacy and critical thinking. The Mr. Men and Little Miss series have been adapted into multiple animated TV shows, each reintroducing Little Miss Naughty to new audiences. The first adaptation, produced in 1974, featured a stop-motion animation and a narrated format. Little Miss Naughty's episodes retained the book's simplicity with her prank-driving, light-hearted plots, her extravagant expression and high-pitched voice, provided by voice actress Janet James, make her instantly recognisable, while the show's pacing emphasised visual gags over dialogue, aligning with Hargreaves' illustrative style. A revamped series in 1995 introduced cel animation and expanded storylines. Here, Little Miss Naughty's character gained more depth in episodes like Little Miss Naughty and the Missing Cake. Her mischief often stemmed from boredom, prompting discussions about finding constructive outlets for energy. The show incorporated musical numbers in ensemble cast, positioning her as a relatable figure who learns to channel her creativity positively. The most recent adaptation, produced in 2008, used CGI animation and a modern aesthetic. Little Miss Naughty's design was updated with brighter colours and smoother movements though her core traits remained intact. Episodes like Little Miss Naughty's Prank Patrol showcased her teaming up with other characters, for example Mr. Mischief, to pull elaborate jokes highlighting teamwork and problem solving. The series also addressed contemporary themes such as cyber pranking, ensuring relevance in the digital age. These adaptations expanded her role beyond the books, allowing her to interact with a broader cast of characters and navigate more complex scenarios. Each iteration preserved Hargreaves' ethos of combining humour with gentle moral guidance, proving her stories' adaptability across mediums. Beyond books and TV, Little Miss Naughty has become a staple in global pop culture through diverse spin-offs. The character's cheeky persona has made her a marketing darling. Plush toys, stationery, and clothing lines feature her likeness, allow children to engage with her stories tangibly. Notably, collaborations with brands like Dr. Martens 2018 and MAC Cosmetics 2021 imagine her as a symbol of rebellious fun, appealing to both nostalgic adults and younger fans. Theatrical adaptations such as the Mr. Men and Little Miss show of 2012 brought Little Miss Naughty to life through puppetry and audience interaction. These performances... Right, 1 minute, I'll just remember. Right, so these performances encourage children to participate in her pranks while underscoring the importance of apologising and making amends. Video games like Mr. Men Let's Go 2023 further gamified her adventures, blending entertainment with puzzles that teach logic and consequence. Educators have embraced the character as a tool for social emotional learning, or SEL for short. Lesson plans centered on her stories help children explore themes like impulse, control, and empathy. For example, activities might involve role-playing scenarios where students brainstorm alternatives to naughty behaviour, aligning with SEL such as responsible decision making. At her core, Little Miss Naughty's stories are about balance. Her mischief reflects natural childhood behaviour, testing boundaries, seeking attention and exploring creativity, while her eventful reckoning model accountability. Key educational takeaways include understanding consequences. Each prank's outcome, a backfired joke, visually demonstrates cause and effect. Empathy development. Scenes where characters react to her antics encourage perspective taking. Emotional regulation. Her journey from impulsivity to reflection mirrors children's own struggle with self-control. Psychologists praise such narratives for validating children's emotions while guiding them towards constructive behaviour. As Dr. Emily King, a child development expert, notes, characters like Little Miss Naughty gives kids permission to acknowledge their naughty impulses in a safe context, which is crucial for emotional growth. Nearly 50 years after her creation, Little Miss Naughty remains a beloved figure. Her enduring appeal lies in her relatability. She mirrors the duality of human nature, playfulness and responsibility, without moral absolution. Modern reimaginings such as feminist reinterpretations that frame her as a challenger of rigid norms attest to her adaptability. The character's global reach, translated into over 20 languages and embraced in cultures from Japan to Brazil, also underscores her universal resourcefulness. In a world where children's media increasingly prioritise flashy visuals over substance, her stories remind us that simplicity, humour and heart are timeless. Little Miss Naughty's journey from a cheeky character in a 32 book page book to a multimedia phenomenon illustrates the power of storytelling to evolve while retaining its core values through books, TV shows, and spin-offs. Her tales continue to entertain, educate, and empower young audiences, proving that even naughtiness can be a gateway to empathy and growth. Roger Hargreaves' creation endures not just as a relic of nostalgia, but as a testament to the enduring need for stories that celebrate the powerful, the playful, imperfect, and wonderfully human aspects of childhood. In the words of Hargreaves himself, a smile is always just a page away. For Little Miss Naughty, the smile comes with a wink and a lesson worth learning. Right, the Little Miss Naughty character created as part of this beloved Little Miss series has evolved from a cheeky literary figure into a multimedia icon. Her stories, television adaptations, and spin-off blend humour, moral lessons, and cultural relevance, making her a timeless symbol of playful rebellion. Introduced in Little Miss Naughty, the character is defined by her love of pranks, right? Knocking off his hat, Mr. Clever breaking his glasses, and Mr. Bump stealing his bandages. The narrative resolves with Mr. Impossible, an invisible counterpart tweaking her nose whenever she misbehaves, ultimately curing her naughtiness. This story structure emphasised cause and effect, teaching children accountability while maintaining light-hearted humour. The book's minimalist prose and bold illustrations became a hallmark of Hargreaves' work, appealing to early readers and fostering literacy skills. The Little Miss Naughty's mischief have been adapted across multiple TV series, each renovating her as a new... Right. So the Mr. Men Show 2008 to 2009. This CGI animated series modernised her design with curly pink hair, a lighter green bow, and a distinct accent. A Transylvanian flair in the US and the Bristol dialect in the UK. Voiced by Alison Packard and Joe Wyatt, her catchphrase, "Sometimes I just can't help myself," became iconic. Episodes often showcased her pranks backfiring, such as in Little Miss Naughty's Prank Patrol, when teamwork with Mr. Mischief led to humorous chaos. 1995 to 1997 animated series. In episodes like The Joke is on Little Miss Naughty, her beachside antics, hiding mousetraps, sabotaging boats, accumulating in poetic justice, with characters like Mr. Tickle trapping her on a tall chair. This series expanded her role, blending slapstick with subtle lessons about empathy. Stage and interactive media. Theatrical adaptations such as The Mr. Men Show and Little Miss Show 2012 used puppetry to engage audience, while video games like Mr. Men Let's Go 2023 gamified her pranks, encouraging problem solving. Beyond books and TV, Little Miss Naughty's influence spans diverse media and merchandise, special editions and collaborations. Little Miss Naughty and the Good Fairy, published in 2003, is where she steals the fairy's wand only to discover her prank create positive outcomes, adding nuisance to her rebellious her persona. Brand partnerships with Dr. Mantis 2018 and Mac Cosmetics 2021 reimagined her as a symbol of playful defiance, targeting both nostalgic adults and children. Teachers use her stuff right. I've read that. For example, active impulse control or repairing harm after pranks. When Little Miss Naughty worries Mr. Worry, published in 1998, her antics inevitably teach Mr. Worry to lighten up, showcasing her role in balancing the personalities of other characters. Little Miss Naughty's enduring appeal lies in her relatability. She embodies the universal tension between mischief and growth. Key elements of her legacy include global reach, translating into over 20 languages. Her stories resonate across cultures from Japan to Brazil. Feminist reinterpretations. Modern analysis frame her as a challenger of rigid norms, celebrating rebellion within safe humorous boundaries. Merchandise, plush toys, stationery, and even pirate-themed costumes, seen in boots and pirates keep her relevant in pop culture. From her 1981 debut to CGI animation and brand collaborations, Little Miss Naughty emphasised how a simple character can transcend mediums to teach, entertain and inspire. Roger Hargreaves' creation reminds us that naughtiness, when balanced with accountability, can be a gateway to empathy and self-discovery. As her pranks continue to evolve in books, shows and spin-offs, she remains a testament to the enduring power of playful storytelling. Little Miss Naughty occupies a storied position within the archetype of Trickster, a figure recurring across global mythologies and children's fictions. Unlike Meverly archetype, her mischief stems from playful curiosity rather than malice, aligning her with benign rebels like Dr. Seuss's Cat in the Hat or A.A. Milne's Tigger. Loki from Norse mythology versus Little Miss Naughty. While Loki's chaos often harbours destructive intent, Hargreaves' character embodies harmless pranks, reflecting childhood experimentation with boundaries. Dennis the Menace UK comic series. Both characters challenge authority, but Dennis's defiance is more confrontational. Little Miss Naughty's antics, by contrast, lack aggression, positioning her as a relatable figure for children navigating social norms. Maps where the wild things are. Like Maps, her rebellion is temporary and self-correcting, reinforcing the idea that testing limits is a natural, non-permanent phase of development. In a genre where naughtiness is often gendered male, Little Miss Naughty disrupts stereotypes. Her bold pink hue and spiky hair define traditional femininity, offering a model of agency and exuberance rarely afforded to female characters in mid-20th century children's books. Hargreaves' genius lies in using humour to soften, allowing children to engage with ethnical dilemmas without feeling admonished. Each story follows a narrative arc where her pranks backfire, in a self-set style, illustrating natural consequences. These moments, coupled with her eventful apologies, models accountability and empathy. The lack of propulsive adult intervention emphasises self-regulation, a critical skill for early readers. Beneath the slapstick lies a framework for understanding social constraints. Right versus wrong, simplified through visual storytelling. For example, a mischievous grin contrasted with Pear's dismay. Empathy by witnessing the fallout of her actions. Children intensifies the impact of their behaviour on others. Resilience. Her ability to rebound from mishaps reassures readers that mistakes are conjugal. Decades after her debut, Little Miss Naughty remains a cultural touchstone, resonating across generations through adaptability and psychological nuance. Childhood relatability. Children see their own rebellious impulses reflected in their antics, validating their emotions, while offering a safe narrative space to explore them. Adult nostalgia. For parents, the series evokes nostalgia. Its simplicity constraining with modern media's complexity. Right, we've done that. Her stories provoke questions about the subtle of good and bad behaviour. Is naughtiness a matter of perspective? Can mischief coexist with kindness? Such ambiguities invites intellectual dialogue, enriching her role beyond mere entertainment. Educators and caregivers can leverage Little Miss Naughty's stories to cultivate problem-solving skills, role-playing activities. Scenario: students reenact a scene where Little Miss Naughty disrupts a picnic. How might peers resolve the conflict without adult help? Outcome encourages negotiation perspective, taking and creative solutions. For example, inviting her to lead a game instead of excluding her. Rewriting endings. Participants devise outcomes where her mischief leads to positive change. For example, a prank revealing a hidden treasure. Moral ambiguity. Discussions. Debates on whether her actions warrant punishment or understanding fosters ethical reasoning. Little Miss Naughty amplifies Roger Hargreaves' mastery of blending entertainment with enlightenment. As a trickster, she channels childhood spirits. As a teacher, she emphasised morality through humour and consequences. Her enduring legacy lies in her ability to mirror the complexities of human behaviour, inviting readers to laugh, reflect and grow in an era where children's literature increasingly grapples with nuance. Her simplicity and warmth remain a testament to the timeless power of storytelling. Right, analysis, historical and cultural analysis of right, so Roger Hargreaves' Little Miss Naughty debuted in 1981 as part of the Little Miss series, an extension of his iconic Mystery Men books, 1971 to 1988. These Mystery Men books are still being written by his son, Adam Hargreaves, because Roger Hargreaves died in 1988. Born from Hargreaves' desires to persify human traits for children, the series emerged during a transformative era in children's literature, marked by a shift towards character-driven narratives and visual storytelling. The book's origins trace back to a playful interaction with his son Adam, who inspired the creation of Mr. Sickle, a reflection of Hargreaves' belief in simplifying abstract concepts like behaviour through humour and vivid design. By the 1980s, the series had become a cultural phenomenon, with Little Miss Naughty embodying the elegance of playful rebellion. The book's success over 100 million copies sold globally reflects their alignment with post-war educational trends, emphasising gentle moral instruction over dictatorism. Their translation into 20-plus languages and adaptations into TV shows underscores the transitional appeal. Gender subversion and step right. Little Miss Naughty disrupts traditional gender roles in children's literature. Unlike earlier female characters confined to passive or nurturing roles, her bold pink youth, spiky hair, mischievous grin. Now, when I read the book, she was the colour purple, and she had a great big green bow in her hair, and she always had the mischievous grin. But obviously, they've updated her appearance since I read the books. Grin challenged conventional femininity. However, the series has faced criticism for reinforcing gendered binaries. The original Mystery Men, 1971, centred male characters, while Little Miss books, introduced 10 years later in 1981, introduced female counterparts as an afterthought. Critics argue that labelling female characters as Little Miss instead of Miss intensifies them through not franking male characters like Mr. Nervous, subverts expectations of female compliance. Hargreaves' narratives use humour to model ethnical behaviour. Naughty pranks often backfire, illustrating natural consequences without punitive adult intervention. For instance, in her title book, Mr. Impossible, an invisible figure pricks her nose each time she misbehaves, teaching self-regulation and accountability. This approach aligns with mid-20th century child psychology, which prioritised empathy and resilience over authoritarian discipline. Beyond entertainment, Little Miss Naughty has been co-opted into broader cultural discourses. Feminist activists adapted her image for the Little Miss Naughty Award, celebrating women who challenged norms. Academics have analysed her alongside figures like Sophie in comic Last de Sophie, 1959, framing Naughty's mischief as a form of gender fluidity or resistance to rigid social constructs. The character's longevity stems from her adaptability. Modern adaptations, such as the 2008 TV series, reimagined her with a Transylvanian, Bristol accent, broadening her relatability. Merchandising, from toys to theme merchandise, has cemented her status as a pop cultural icon, while academic critique, for example, debates about moral gender ratios in the series ensure ongoing relevance. Little Miss Naughty amplifies the interplay between historical context and cultural evolution. As a product of the 1980s, she reflects shifting attitudes towards gender and childhood agency, while her enduring popularity underscores the universal appeal of playful rebellion. Hargreaves' creation transcends its era, serving as both a mirror of social norms and a catalyst for challenging them, a testament to the power of children's literature to shape and reflect cultural identity. So now here are some questions about Little Miss Naughty. So I'm going to read you the questions and then I'll read out the answers. How does Hargreaves use humour to soften moral lessons in Little Miss Naughty, and why might this approach resonate more with children than direct instruction? Our Little Naughty's consequences, for example, getting stuck in her own traps permissive to her actions, or do they risk trivialising the impact of misbehaviour? In what way does the series reinforce or subvert traditional binaries of good versus bad behaviour? How does Little Miss Naughty's lack of malice distinguish her from other literal tricksters, such as Loki or Dennis the Menace? Does her eventful apology in stories undermine her rebellious appeal, or does it make her more relatable as a flawed yet redeemable character? How does her visual design, spiky hair, pink colour, reflect her personality, and what cultural messages might this send about femininity? How does the Little Miss books reflect 1980s attitudes towards childhood and discipline compared to modern parenting philosophies? Why might Hargreaves have chosen female counterparts, Little Miss characters, a decade after the original Mr. Men series? Does this delay reinforce gendered stereotypes? How has the character's reception differed in cultures with stricter social norms, for example, Japan versus the UK? How does Hargreaves' minimalist prose style enhance or limit the exploration of complex themes like empathy and accountability? What role do visual elements, for example, extravagant facial expressions, play in conveying Naughty's emotions compared to textual descriptions? Does the simplicity of the stories make them timeless, or do they risk oversimplifying ethnical dilemmas? Could Naughty's antics encourage rule breaking in young readers, or does the narrative structure safely contain her rebellion? How might these books help children process their own naughty impulses through symbolic play? What lessons about consent are in stories where Naughty teases or pranks others without permission? How does Little Miss Naughty challenge or stereotypes about girls being well behaved in children's literature? Why are there fewer naughty female characters in classic children's literature compared to male ones? And how does Naughty fill the gap? Does labelling her Little Miss instead of Miss infantilise her, or does it align with the series' playful tone? Is Naughty's behaviour inherently wrong, or does it highlight the subject of social norms? Can mischief ever be a form of creativity or resistance, as suggested by chaotic antics? How have modern adaptations altered Naughty's character for contemporary audiences? Does the commercialisation of the series dilute its original educational content? Why has Naughty remained a pop cultural icon while others faded into obscurity? If Naughty were written today, how might her stories address issues like inclusivity and neurodiversity? Compare her to modern Naughty characters like Peppa Pig, Susie Sheep. How do their portrayals reflect changing social values? So they're the questions, and here's the answers. Hargreaves employs slapstick humour to illustrate consequences without direct endorsements. This approach aligns with child psychology, making lessons digestible and engaging, fostering self-reflection over fear of reprimand. While extravaganza consequences are designed to be memorable rather than punitive, They emphasise cause-effect relationships, resonating with children's experimental learning without trivialising misbehaviour. The series subtly challenges rigid binaries. Naughty's antics through disruptive stem from curiosity, suggesting mischief isn't inherently bad but requires boundaries. Redemption acts highlight moral flexibility. Unlike Loki, destructive, or Dennis the Menace, who is defiant, Naughty's pranks lack malice. Her curiosity-driven mischief positions her as a benign trickster, fostering empathy rather than villainy. Her apologies humanise her, modelling accountability. This balance of rebellion and redemption mirrors childhood's trials and error, nature making her relatable without undermining her spiritual persona. Bold, pink and spicy hair define traditional femininity, challenging stereotypes. Her design signals boldness and agency, subversing expectations of passive female characters in mid-20th century literature. The 1980s emphasised gentle discipline, reflecting in Naughty's self-correcting mishaps. Modern parenting focused on emotional intelligence might frame her stories as explorations of autonomy and empathy. The delayed Little Miss series, 1981, risks reinforcing gender barriers by segregating female traits. However, Naughty's Defiance challenges this, offering girls a rebellious role model. In stricter cultures, for example Japan, Naughty's rebellion might be viewed as cautionary in Western contexts. Her humour and redemptions are celebrated as empowering. Simple language ensures accessibility but limits emotional depth. Visual storytelling compensates, making themes like empathy visual explicit, e.g. Peers dismay. Extravagant expressions, mischievous grin, wide eyes, convey emotions vividly, aiding pre-literal children in decoding social cues without textual exploration. Simplicity ensures timeless appeal but may oversimplify ethics. For example, pranks are resolved quickly, sidestepping using discussions about intent. Unlikely as narratives contain rebellion without safe humorous boundaries. Consequences model self-regulation, discouraging real-life limitation. Children's project naughty impulses onto the character, processing boundaries through her stories, a form of Catholic playing goes by development theories like Piglet, like Peer Gynt. While not explicit, Naughty's pranks causing peer discomfort tackle to highlight the importance of considering other feelings. Naughty disrupts the good girl trope, normalising female mischief. Her agency contrasts with passive heroines like Cinderella, broadening gender representation. Historically, girls' literature prioritised Naughty fills the properality. Naughty fills this gap, offering a rare female trickster who normalises spirited behaviour. While playful, the label intensifies, contrasting with the empowering Miss, yet it aligns with the series' whimsical tone, balancing critique and charm. Naughty's pranks highlight context-dependent ethics. Her actions feel disruptive, like malice, questioning rigid moral judgments. Her chaos often sparks unintended solutions. revealing hidden treasures, framing rebellion as a creative force that challenges segregation. The 2008 TV series amplifies her personality with regional accents, broad relatability. Digital apps might integrate interactive problem solving, updating her relevance. Merchandise risks diluting educational intent but extends her cultural footprint. Naughty's balance of mischief and redemption, coupled with bold visuals, makes her iconic. She embodies universal tensions between freedom and responsibility. Modern Naughty might navigate digital pranks, e.g. memes, or champion inclusivity, teaming with neurodiverse characters to solve problems through unconventional means. Susie's rivalry with Pepper reflects modern competitiveness, whereas Naughty's antics are more celebratory. Both challenge gendered behaviour but reflect evolving social values. Susie's assertiveness contrasts with Naughty's playful chaos. So rhetorical questions now. So again, I will read you the questions and then read you out the insights. So here goes. Who decided that pink and spiky hair couldn't redefine what it means to be naughty a girl? If mischief has no gender, why do we still gasp when a Little Miss owns it? Can a trap setting dress ever truly teach more than a stern lesson? When her pranks backfire, are we laughing at her or at the childish follies we've all outgrown? What does it say about society when a rule breaker in a pink dress becomes more iconic than the rule makers? Could a character like Naughty thrive in an era of helicopter parenting, or is she a relic of free and messier childhoods? In a world of grey areas, does reducing naughtiness to slapstick chaos risk making virtue a cartoon too? Is there hidden genius in teaching accountability through a character who never stays sorry for long? Do adults cling to Naughty because she lets us remember and forgive the little rebels we once were? If children see themselves in her grin, do they also see the freedom to outgrow it? When laughter punctuates every lesson, who's really playing the prank, the character or the author? Can a treat nose courtesy of Mr. Impossible ever reveal the weight of a wagging finger? Look at 21st century Naughty swap pranks for TikTok trends or prove some chaos is timeless. In an age of girl boss narratives, could her mischief morph into a manifesto? So here are these insights. So what? Little Miss Naughty's mischief explores the unspoken rules governing childhood and femininity. Her pink dress and spiky hair are not just authentic choices, but visual rebellions against the expectations that girls should be quiet or decorative. By embodying chaos in a traditional girly palette, she interrogates why society polishes female rebellion. What does it mean that we accept her antics only when cloaked in humour and pastels? Her character becomes a paradox, both a challenge to gender norms and a consensus to them. Hargreaves' use of slapstick trapping herself treat noses transforms moral lessons into shared jokes. This humour disarms judgment, allowing children and adults to confront flaws without shame. Well, when narcissist pranks backfire, the laughter isn't punitive but communal, suggesting that growth comes from laughing at our follies, not fearing them. Yet this raises a thorny question. Does framing accountability as comedy risk making ethics a punchline, or does it humanise the struggles to be good? Adults often romanticise naughty as a symbol of simpler times, but her endurance reveals a deeper tension. She embodies an era where children's literature dared to let characters be unapologetically flawed, a stark contrast to today's hyper-curated positive representation narrative. Her popularity as halfway sanitised children's childhood stories so thoroughly that we've lost space for playful imperfection? Or does her nostalgia gloss over the complexities of modern parenting? Hargreaves' minimalist style, bold colours, sparse text, bellies a sophisticated duality. Naughty's stories are simple enough for a toddler, rich with subtext. Why do rules exist? Who decides what's naughty? Her tale avoids by leaving room for ability. For example, when her pranks accidentally help others, revealing a hidden object, for example, they blur the line between mischief and this simplicity isn't reductive but radical, trusting children to grapple with nuisance. Beneath the chaos lies a covert lesson in power dynamics. Naughty's antics often target authority figures. For example, Mr. Bossy are vulnerable figures like Mr. Nervous, mirroring real-world hierarchies. Her eventful, her eventful apologies model restorative justice, but the stories rarely show systematic change. This submission invites critique. Does resolving conflict through individual repentance let oppressive structures off the hook, or is this a pragmatic lesson for young readers? In the world of digital activism and hashtag girl boss culture, Nancy's legacy faces new questions. Could a modern reboot frame her mischief as resistance, challenging rigid classrooms or gender roles? Or would she be co-opted into corporate empowerment tropes? Stripped of her edge, her survival hinges on whether society still values playful dissidence or demands confront masters progress. Final thoughts. Little Miss Naughty is more than just a character, she's a cultural rostral test. To some, she's a harmless jester. To others, a feminist prototype. To children, she's a companion in the messy world of growing up. Her greatest insight lies in her refusal to be pinned down, a reminder that the most enduring stories are those that let us see ourselves, flaws and all, without flinching. Closing reflections and final thoughts. The journey through Little Miss Naughty's world reveals far more than antics of a mischievous character in a pink dress. She's a mirror held up to the complexities of human behaviour, reminding us that rebellion, curiosity and imperfections are not just childhood phases, but universal factors of the human experience. Roger Hargreaves' creation transcends its whimsical veneer to ask enduring questions. Who gets to define naughty? Can rules coexist with creativity? And what does it mean to grow while staying true to one's spirited pure? Here, her stories, though simple, are a masterclass in gentle rebellion. They teach that accountability need not erase individuality, and that humour can be both a shield and a bridge in a world often obsessed with binaries, good versus bad, complexity versus complacence versus defiance. Little Miss Naughty craves a third path on where mistakes are lessons, mischief is a language of curiosity, and redemption is always within reach. So here are some inspirational quotes to finish with and to carry forward. Be who you are, be who you were meant to be, and you will set the world on fire. And that is a quote from Catherine of Siena. Little Miss Naughty's legacy urges us to embrace our quirks, even when they ruffle feathers. Authenticity, not perfection, is the spark of progress. Play is the highest form of research. That is a quote from scientist Albert Einstein. Her tales remind us that humour and experimentation are not frivolous, but they're vital tools for understanding ourselves and the world. Do the best you can until you know better. Then when you know better, do better. Naughty's apologises and course corrections model a truth growth isn't about erasing flaws but involving with grace. The only way to deal with stereotypes is not deal with them, to walk right through them. Her spiky hair and pink defiance challenges us to reject boxes, wherever gender, moral or creative, and redefine ourselves on our terms. Very final word now. Little Miss Naughty's more than a character, she's an invitation. An invitation to laugh at our follies, to question rigid norms, and to find wisdom in the messiness of being human. As we navigate a world that often demands conformity, let her legacy remind us. A little rebellion. This is a quote from Thomas Jefferson. A little rebellion now and then is a good thing. It is a medicine necessary for the sound health of society. Carry her mischief, very final thought. So carry her mischief in your heart, not as a cold space, but as a compass, pointing towards curiosity, courage, and the unyielding belief that even the naughtiest among us can light the way. And that, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, concludes today's lesson at the Butterfly Princess Academy, where curiosity takes flight and wisdom wears wings. Thank you very, very much for joining me for today's lesson. I hope you've enjoyed today's lesson and you can take something very valuable to take away with you from it. And I very much hope you can join me again very soon at the Butterfly Princess Academy for more lessons in the very near future. But until then, I hope you have a very good, nice weekend, and I hope that you all are well and take care. And I will see you all again very, very soon. Bye bye for now.